do enjoy the Twisted Fate. Gives them some mobility around the map.
They will really focus on the single target CCs. I mean, you have the gold card, you have the undertow to slow down your next possible target. After a lot of setups, that's the perfect time for Rakan to jump in with the Gat entrance, maybe even a Feather Storm from Risaya.
It's interesting to see the Graves being locked in. Saigon fans, like they're taking a page out of INVATE Esports book. I'm not sure if this is going into the jungle or maybe into the marksman role. We will have to see how this one plays out. It's still very flexible. Yeah, but like we mentioned, even in the pre-show, Yuko, AOHK grabs Tsunami. That's pretty much what they want to play with, making the support role kind of like an enabler, making sure that the rest of the team is able to keep putting out damage, really get in the face of INVATE Esports. Whereas INVATE Esports, they want the Jess to come in as an initiator, someone who's able to shot call and lead them around them.
I love how you mentioned damage, because before we hopped into game number 1 game, I was looking for the actual damage from Saigon Phantom. They did shine in the mid game, but toward the late game, scale definitely in favor of INVATE Esports. Speaking of scale, speaking of damage, they pick up that Akali.
Akali, the final grab for INVATE Esports. We haven't quite seen much of this. A little bit fallen by the wayside in 2.4B. Has a couple of hits to the damage, some of the stats, but for the most part, I still think it's a very powerful pick. And up against the Renekton, it's one of the better ones to deal against it, especially with Camille being banned away. Overall, I mean, if Cat type is looking to play this, I could be quite happy with how INVATE Esports have drafted.
It's interesting for me, though, the fact that we haven't seen Senna since day 1. It may be just been in that game 1. We then got a taste of it last game. And now it's actually not been bad. It might just be the first time it's been let through the draft and teams aren't interested in it. But what I will say is this is another very aggressive draft with the ability to try and snowball early. Champions that want to be on the map nice and early, deployed, set up, ready to succeed. And we should be in for another treat where the games and the kills certainly do deliver. Now, Yuko, quick final thoughts. Which draft do you prefer?
I know I voted for Saigon Phantoms, but I have to give this one to INVATE. I really like that Olaf pickup. Imagine if he pops off plus a Saya and Rakan for the setup. That's going to be a problem for Saigon Phantom.
What about you, Grandin?
Yeah, INVATE Esports, I can't get enough of them, honestly. You get a really interesting support with What the Jess. I feel like they're bumping back a little bit to their previous style with a Cat type as the Akali, but yeah, I'm pretty okay with this still. You know, the Coda Feed still has Solaf at least.
Well, he's a fan, I'm a fan, I think we're all a fan. So how about we throw to some of the best fans in the region, and let's bring back into the conversation our casting team. Let's send it to the guys over in the casting booth. It's Omo and TJ.
Thank you very much, Skimmy. My name is TJ, joined by Omo. Saigon Phantom, more like Saigon down 01 Phantom. How are you doing, Omo?
I'm doing great. So much better after hearing that joke from you, TJ, to wake me up a little bit. And I've got one for you, too.
Okay.
Saigon down like the stream, Phantom, as we're going into Game 2 up against INVATE Esports here. It's going to be a pretty exciting one to start things off. I like the draft from both of these teams, and I'm hyped to see what we can find out here.
On be real, though, Saigon Phantoms went down like there was a period of time. There was a close game. The stream just went down, so it's a little different there.
True.
Saigon Phantoms be like a close game 1, but were upset by INVATE in the very last moments of it. How does that, as we get into this game number 2, kind of play against your expectations?
It doesn't actually. It plays directly into my expectations. When they're strong, where they're strong is when Blake 1 leads the charge. I have a very interesting stat here that I'm going to use for a quick detour while we have a bit of a quiet, a bit of a lull in the action. Coden Feet versus Blake 1. Their kill participation in the regular season for their teams, Coden Feet had 72%. Blake 1 had an insane 94% kill participation. Wow. That's ridiculous. And it really goes to show that where this guy is where his team succeeds.
That's absurd, frankly.
It is. It really is. Like 94%, you're basically taking a part in every single kill.
And Blake 1 demonstrated it for Saigon during game number 1. Now we're in game number 2. Let's take a revisit over these drafts, over the start of this game. Does the shift of power into Blake 1's hands, giving him this Graves, kind of bode well for them? We'll find out as he shifts down into the bottom lane. It scares Kaze back behind his turret.
Yeah, not quite enough damage.
Amidst All of this happening amidst a roam of INVATE down towards the bottom side of the map as they begin to control this dragon pit.
That is true indeed. And SAIGON Phantom now, I think they want to make a look up towards the top side of the map. Solo for cat type just as we look away. And we were about to touch about the draft. I was about to bring up the point of the Akali. I swear this is not hindsight. It's a very good counter pick to the Renekton.
Sure.
And really, it's true, TJ. You have to believe me here. And part of the reason why it's so good in this game is, what is Akali scared of? When is Akali strongest, rather? She's strong when she's in her shroud and she has time to play around her passive, play around the cooldown of her first skill. The counter to that is Destiny. Twisted Fate just reviews you. Champions like Lee Sin just review you. There's none of that in this game. The Twisted Fate is on your team, and Renekton can never really trade onto an Akali just because Akali's trading patterns naturally counter Renekton. He dashes on you, you can bounce back, you can go into your shroud, you got a million options, you're good to go. And I think that this is actually one of the few games where I'm happy to see an Akali, and it fits so well with INVATE's go, go, go comp. This time around, much simpler to execute. Press your button.
Full sand.
Full sand, basically.
No, I love to see it. Let me tell you, though, the one part of this composition from INVATE that doesn't feel like a full send is the Xayah, who can't really chase into fight, struggles a little bit to engage. But though I have a well-documented hatred of the character, Kaze won the last game off his team fighting prowess on Xayah. How do you think that balances out? Is this as antithetical to the composition as I think it is?
Well, part of the reason why champions like Xayah, and to some extent champions like Ezreal, even Ziggs, and I think to a very small extent, even champions like Varus and Ashe, this is why they're so good with diving comps, because what they do in team fights doesn't matter. They can just press their R buttons, and they can just use their utility, and that's it, they're done. Xayah and Ezreal, they can peel for themselves. You guys can go full send it, and let your AD carries take care of themselves.
Speaking of, Kaze is going to need to. Here's the roam down from SAIGON. 3 members here. Twisted Fate Pelby will arrive and deal out the gold card. There's nothing to be done. Kaze survives. What a heal! Keeps him up through the Mega Inferno Bomb. And INVATE can now turn 4v5 for this fight, and instantly Golden Feet's into the fray. He'll find Blake 1. There's no jungler for SAIGON as the press keeps going forward. Golden Feet past the front lines, finds his second, and with a flash, what the Jess is away, free in the Baron pit. Pelby will go down. Trum finally finding something back as Golden Feet backs away. This could get dangerous because Kaze has returned. So this fight will go the way of INVATE. Control goes the way of nobody.
Well, we say that, but I think SAIGON Phantom, Blake 1 has respawned. He's going to make his way back, and he will pick up the dragon for his team.
I do want to raise, as I think you're right, Dragon is going to go over to SAIGON. I do want to raise that during this entire time, Cat Type was just free farming in the
exactly.
lane. He just took a turret.
Yeah, he's happy. He's got a lot of gold in his pocket right now. He's a level up on Trump Top. Trump Top got a kill, but this guy, he's going to be behind in gold. There we go. More than 1,000 gold. Akali is sitting happy. Crystalline Bracer in his pocket is an interesting choice. But I think the main thing that we want to pay attention to, his items, it doesn't matter. Anything that gives him AP, once you have 5,000 gold, I think you're happy regardless. And I think that this Akali is going to make Ziggs and Graves their life a living hell.
INVATE do trade the objectives, grab themselves a Rift Herald. So, Crystal Embracer, I do actually want to talk about, for anyone who hasn't played it, it's a relatively new item. The way it works is every time you use an ability, as a mage, you basically generate a single stack that blocks and blocks a point of damage towards you and returns it to the enemy, a bit like Thornmail. How do you see this playing on an Akali?
Well, it's a bit curious, right? Because as an Akali, you don't want to even get hit at all. I can see it make a bit of sense to give him a bit of tanky stats in the side lane. In the team fight, the main thing you want to play around is your mobility, your Shroud, your Zhonya's, and, you know, that's about it, right? Like, that should be more than enough for you to take care of yourself, and you just want to buy damage. You want to just kill people, one-shot them. The only reason this makes sense is if you want to be looking for pressure on side lanes. Make sure that you don't die to Renekton, you don't get one-shot by the combo of Empowered Renekton Stun into Graves.
And that was what I was thinking of, because if you get stunned by the Renekton, you can just, if you've built up the stacks, just shrug off that combo for the next 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's really good for trading patterns into Renekton, but I feel like your priority here as Akali, given the team comp that you have, given that we established what their team comp wants to do, full sand, it kind of doesn't make sense to me, as we have to take a bit of a step back and look at this Herald.
I don't know, I was enjoying our item time. The Herald is the Herald is summoned down here on the bottom side of the map. Kaze will silence the fight with the Featherstorm, slowing things down. INVATE knocked very low, but they do get the Rift Herald charge. They do discover where all of Saigon Phantoms are. I won't get anything more than that.
Yeah, a little bit underwhelming there. I think the fight started with Belby getting caught, so he has to flash away. I think it was from the Cataclysm, so that makes them in a pretty tough situation to take any ensuing fights. But Cattype
1v4, Cattype opts into the fray, diving into a smoke veil. He'll find the first kill, and he's waiting on that perfect execution.
Nice.
Backed up by what the Jess. Cattype's got 2. He'll back away now. 3 players here. Trumped comes in, and Cattype's tempted. Destiny popped. Golden Feet dueling up front. Will flash away. It's a little too dangerous. 2 kills to Cattype in a 1v3.
He went mid. Belby popped the Destiny, but he gates it to mid. He thinks, I'm not going to help my team. I want to come here and do chip damage to this turret.
I'm going to get gold.
I completely understand that. Do you remember in game 1, TJ? It took them years to break this tier 1 mid tower. Belby makes the call. Any chip damage on it is better than any fight we could possibly take. And what the Jess?
Also, you know, Cattype kind of seemed like he had a handle. He didn't need any help.
Like we mentioned, right, Akali's so mobile. Who here is really going to lock him down? Look at Saigon Phantom's team composition and bring it back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. What counters Akali? Vision through his Shroud and Hot CC. We didn't quite raise that point, but Hot CC as well is so important. CC that you can't dodge out on. Javan CC is all dodgeable. Nami CC is all dodgeable. And the only thing that you need to be afraid of is Renekton's Empowered Stun. That's it. It's a free game for Cattype.
And Renekton's Empowered Stun is run away from-able.
It's genre-able.
Yeah, as long as you can keep, you know, some social distance between you and that crocodile. You can't do anything to you.
Exactly, and in the last game as well, we saw Trumptop consistently going for these assassination attempts against Belby's Twisted Fate, and we saw the counter. Just stay away from the croc. Yeah.
Just keep them at arm's length, which to be fair is what you're supposed to do to real crocodiles as well. So
more than an arm, I would say.
Yeah, if you keep them at arm's length, you might lose that arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Right here, a mounted Drake. And Saigon Phantom would like to get in, but it's INVATE to start it on the Saigon Phantom ward. Phantoms know what's up here. Can they do anything about it? Over the wall, here comes Blake. Tidal wave synced up, secured by INVATE inside the pit. Golden Feet will fall immediately after getting it. Kaze forced to Featherstorm, top of the fight, will survive, root everyone else. The only death is Golden Feet. A 1-1 trade for the Drake.
Yeah, and that fight was a completely failed execution from the side of INVATE Esports. The idea was right, the angles they were coming from was right, and they want more?
Now the INVATE are gonna step up here. Dash.
No mana! No mana!
From backs away, Cattype did get hit, didn't keep the distance. Arm got bit off, but he'll survive.
Belby potted into the pit with 0 mana. He used his last bit of mana for his Destiny's Gate. He came in, could not pull a single card. Entire deck was empty, used all 52, and he's out of cards. That's it for the fight. And that just ties along to the theme of what we've been seeing so far. INVATE are just failing the execution.
He's there for the moral support. INVATE.
I don't know about that one, TJ. I would be pretty demoralized if my TF potter next to me and didn't cast a single spell.
Pocket sand. INVATE did have a gold lead from that, though. And
Indeed.
I think that is important to mention because a lot of that gold is, of course, on Belby. A lot of that gold on Feet and Cattype, both of whom are going to be very scary as we head into the mid-lane game.
Yeah, as well as I do want to mention, TF has been split pushing most of the game once again. Same as what we saw in the last game. We kind of criticized him for it, or rather I criticized him for it. I said, you know, you need to be playing with your team more. You can't be playing so selfish. But remember, TF's passive gives him more gold. So the more he farms, the more he's going to accelerate, and he's going to hit that 13-minute 3-item point again. That's the timing in the last game. Let's see if he'll get it even quicker this game. And of course, Cattype sitting at basically 3 items right now. This guy's going to be a menace in every team fight. They just need to fix the execution. Make it like Akali's ultimate is called. Make it a flawless execution and you're good to go.
Dive in from what the Jazz. That's not flawless.
Far from it. And they get more damage on themselves than they came in.
Again, Inferno Bomb slams the door behind them.
Yeah.
INVATE leave with their heads held low.
Indeed. Walk of shame. Back to the tier ones.
We weren't trying anything, I swear. And now it's SAIGON's turn.
Cat type. Has an angle.
Step up. Cat type does have the angle, but not the damage, not onto anyone who's vulnerable to it.
You know
so
what?
It's all kind of a wash in the middle of the map.
You know what I think is going on, TJ? We kind of cast this cursing what the Jess. Ever since yesterday, ever since the analyst desk, everyone has been saying this guy is a monster on Rakan, and he's just been failing engage after engage. Like that. It's kind of demoralizing to see.
Yeah, rough engage for him, rough series of them. Belby up here on the top lane is maybe 1 hit point. Like walks up, takes advantage of that, will shut him down. He tried to take a duel, I think, versus Goni and paid the price. And I don't mean the turret goes down as well.
What is this?
Just stepping up here. This time, he's good. We'll find the knock-up onto Goni. That drops Goni to half HP. That is all that will happen. And if you're wondering what Cat Type's up to during this time, he's free farming bot lane. If you'd like the update on the SAIGON Phantoms bot lane, they're free farming mid lane.
Cat Type has a flank. He has an angle here.
Now he can intercept Gunner and AOHK as they try and retreat. Gunner will try and sneak through the mid lane. That pathing sneaky.
No way.
Gunner!
No,
the fancy footwork, that was incredible.
I guess it was incredible for SAIGON Phantom. That's one way to put it. I would say INVATE eSports, they messed up. They just needed to cut off the exits. Look at the Dragon, though. I think they want to fight this.
Dragon will be secured by INVATE, and they are out. INVATE get the Dragon, and they leave. Oh, no.
That was just so disappointing from INVATE. They had the angle, they had the Destiny Gate. Cat Type had them cut off on the flank. They just needed to cut off the one exit onto mid lane, and they let SAIGON Phantom get away without even using flash.
And to your point, if the Destiny Gate had been open a couple of seconds earlier, then Gunner wouldn't have been able to do the cheeky positioning that he did.
Very good point as well, TJ. That's completely true.
I'm really on Twisted Fates, who very obviously aren't being told the play is starting today.
Yes.
Because we've had a couple of them. Ideally, your Twisted Fate opens the Destiny Gate as the play is starting, and not...
Agree.
He's looking at the map and he's like, oh, I guess we're going.
Because TF Ultimate lasts for such a long time as well. The Destiny is available for a really long time. They're looking for a bit here. I don't think much is going to happen. Yeah, just like that.
Okay, we'll drop the tidal wave. Megan Inferno Bomb answers, and it's a mistimed Featherstorm, so... Everyone's
good long-range poke. Yeah, I want to look at what Blake is building, because if my theory is correct, and he's building lethality here, I would actually really like the comp from SAIGON Phantoms, where you just play purely the poke with Ziggs bombs, and Graves uses the ultimate, that's it. You chunk them down, they cannot contest you on objectives. Bit cheeky there from Blake. But I like the previous point. He is indeed. Fancy feed, breaking some ankles. But I want to go back to your previous point, TJ. I think it's a really great point. Twisted Fates being told when the play is happening is what we did see in the last game. Belby opened his Destiny, and I was really questioning what he did it for. Until I realized he did it to give his team vision of the Senna Shroud. They were all hidden in the Senna Shroud, and he popped Destinies so his teammates could see what was going on and really just commit to the play. That was really nice. We're not seeing that this game, so that's a bit disappointing.
Top side, we are seeing trouble here for Goni. He's cut off by Cat Type, still able to get behind the turret, chased in, drops the Cataclysm. This is dangerous as the Mega Inferno Bomb arcs in. Here's Blake, here's the Tidal Wave, a whole team on their way. Tidal Wave will not land. Cat Type, 1 HP into stasis, is surely dead. Flash over the top, won't save him. It is 1 for 1 in the top lane.
It is indeed, and Belby right now in the mid lane, he's doing his thing, using Destiny Gate to get to the mid turrets, but he has to run right now.
Yeah, he gets the mid turret down about a third, a little bit more than that.
Not bad, not bad.
HP.
Yeah, I think INVATE, they're playing the rat game pretty well. They're just running members of Saigon Phantom around the map. A big problem for them, though, is the Ziggs pick. I always say Ziggs is a cheater champion. It changes the rules of the game. It makes the game of League different. The rules of tempo, the rules of wave management, they no longer apply to you. All right, just come in for a gold card.
Because the Ziggs, even though like you're looking at the scoreboard at the top and you're like, Saigon Phantom are at a gold deficit, Ziggs doesn't really care. He can just clear any waves that gets shoved in. He can keep all your turrets safe. Ooh. And if you give that little gremlin a shot at one of your own turrets, he'll eat it up like it's nobody's business.
Exactly. He breaks the rules of tempo. It's like the Thanos meme, right? The rules of reality is now in my control. That's exactly what Ziggs does to the game.
He said.
It's something like that. I might have misquoted him a bit, but Thanos is not going to come after me. It's all good. I want to point out, though, I really love this from Kazatar. Wits End, because he knows that the main damage threat against him is going to be Ziggs. It's not a traditional marksman item, but it works really well here because Hexdrink is not going to save you, right? The shield is not going to save you. He's just going to keep poking you from range. You just want flat magic resistance, and Wits End gives you that.
That's a really fun adaptation, and you love when you see players aware enough of what their item builds are doing to make those kinds of shifts. We do have a rather important addition to the map right now. The Elder Ocean Drake on the map would be game-defining for either team. Destiny Gate is open to scare Saigon off of the play. Nothing comes of it. Now that it's faded, Goni wants some action. He'll go in with the Cataclysm, Mega Inferno Bomb to follow with the Tidal Wave, but none of it has too much of an impact. And INVATE survive and all walk away.
Headtie, meanwhile, gets the top tier 2 turret. They want to commit to this dragon because they know they have to. They don't have options. If Goni recalls here, they're gonna lose this because Cat type is making his way over.
INVATE take their time, walking in, waiting for Saigon to make a mistake, and they are rewarded. Saigon back off of the Drake. Golden Feet walks up. There's a desperate dive from Blake, and he can't find the kill. And this is wasted yet more of Saigon's time as the mid turret falls. Belby getting it for free.
LB gets it for free, and now they come back on the Elder Inferno Drake once again. They don't have a choice. They have to rush this.
LB steps up, Gold Card dealt, Tidal Wave spends defensively. Golden Feet is very low, the jungler for Saigon. So he's going to have to take a risk, but not yet. Drake still above half HP. This Elder Drake, very important for the game, and so Goni commits to the front lines. He'll flash away, but he does knock Kaze down very low. The poke game continues. Here comes the play from Golden Feet into the backlines, focusing on Trump. He's got to disengage. Cat type over the top. Can't finish these kills, but he's chased Saigon away. Caught in the bubble. That's a huge catch from AOHK, but it's on his deathbed. He'll fall immediately after. Trump trying to farm up on the Krugs. Comes in with decent HP. Will force Belby into stasis, but it doesn't matter. INVATE have done it for a second game in a row. They managed to out-fight the Saigon Phantoms with a quadra kill to Belby. Perfectly timed spells. They'll take the Elder, and INVATE are on the path to go 2-0 up in this series.
I think this is an end angle. INVATE, they could just run it down mid right here. They don't have to care about Baron. They don't have to care about anything. 20 seconds to Ziggs, 15 to Nami. I think they can end it right here. They have the Lich Bane available as well. And that was far from a good fight from INVATE, but they still pull it through. So many missed opportunities, but they're looking for the end.
Here we go, INVATE, burn down the Nexus. And sometimes it's not about the perfect execution. It's about the fights you get and the